He's a prominent professor living in the largest Somali community in the United States.
I have lived in Minnesota for about 19 years.
He ran for president in Somalia's recent election and is a member of the new parliament.
I'm driven by, the passion partly comes because I think after 30 years of studying, I have seen enough of the truth in front of me through that scholarship.
This week on African Voices, Professor Ahmed Ismail Samatar, eager to educate and to help rebuild Somalia.
Rebuilding institutions is an epochal project. It's not something that you do it in 1 day or 2 days or 1 week or 1 month or 1 year. I'm passionate about 2 countries in the world. One is where I was born, where many of my relatives live still, where my progenitors are buried through many generations. And that's Somalia, the Somali people. Special passion, special place in my heart. But I have also a new country that I have lived these past 37, 38 years, that has turned me into what I have become. Whatever good there is in me, really to a great extent is partly as a result of being an American. I have a special love for the United States.
Ahmed Samatar is a distinguished professor and the founding dean of the Institute for Global Citizenship at Macalester College, a competitive institute for global learning in Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota, home to the largest Somali population in the United States, an estimated 30,000 strong.
Well, thank you. How are you?
He's been teaching here since 1994. He also lectures around the world at prominent universities such as Cornell and Harvard in the U.S. and other prestigious schools in Toronto, Amsterdam, London, and at Somalia's own National University. His topics range from globalization and the world's political economy to African issues, specifically those of his home country, Somalia.
There are 3 stories to be told, I think, about Somalia. Somalia as Africa's first democrats. It's the first place in the continent, sub-Saharan Africa, in which the head of the state will be defeated in parliamentary transparent elections. And he will hand the keys of the state, so as to speak, to the victor, and tell the nation that democracy is a precious thing. Don't spill it. This is in 1967, the first African head of state, sub-Saharan African head of state, to be defeated in a parliament in an election, and then hand peacefully the order of the state and the institutions to the new president. The second part of the story is the decomposition that has taken place since. And the third story is the struggle of the future that is struggling hard to be born. A different Somalia, perhaps part of it reviving the first democrat tradition.
It was 1960, the time of Somalia's independence. This country, a democratic model in Africa. Aden Abdullah Osman Dar was the president until the 1967 presidential vote, when Abdurrashid Ali Sharmarke became the second leader of the country. But in 1969 he was assassinated. A military coup immediately followed, and that regime ruled for the next 20 years, which led to an ongoing civil war, terrorized by the al-Qaeda-linked group Al-Shabaab, a civil war which continues to this day.
It needs so much. No African country has lost so much since the coming of independence in the continent in the 1960s.
Just a few months ago, for the first time since 1991, Somalia chose a new leader, a sign of development hailed by the United Nations.
We have elected a new president who's a friend of mine and a decent human being. We don't know how he will pick up the challenge, because these are heavy challenges that need to be lifted. But as a person, he's a decent human being.
Hassan Sheikh Mohammed is Somalia's new president. He's an academic and an activist who has also worked with UNICEF.
He cares about the country. And the possibility that his leadership then will bring a shift in gear, and therefore the moving towards that future that needs to be born.
Ahmed Samatar is a member of Somalia's parliament and the political leader of a recently established party.
It's called Hil Qaran, which is a wonderful Somali word, and the translation can never do justice. Hil means to come to the aid. Qaran means nation, so to come to the nation's aid. There are now 22 countries in which Hil Qaran has chapters.
Samatar was also one of the candidates in Somalia's recent presidential election.
I decided that maybe what I want to do is to help build a political party with others. And then as others asked me, accept the candidacy. It's very, very, very difficult, and for particularly a society that's disorganized, riven by internal squabbles and internal conflicts, coming out of a civil war. But it is possible to do, and we have done it. I'm used to being a scholar, but it's a very protected life. Now you offer yourself as a candidate, which means you have to make people, convince them that they fall in love with you and your program. You see, and you cannot just be professorial. That's useful, very useful. I find it very useful. But there is some thrilling aspect about this, and that is you have a vision of the sense of where the country can go. You have a sense that you can solve some of these problems, at least move them to a better place. And out of that kind of a civic appetite develops a certain thrill that really puts you on a high most of the time, even when you are exhausted.
Samatar is now back in Macalester College, but as a member of parliament will continue to remain engaged in the rebuilding of Somalia.
Well, 15 years ago, the future was very hard to envision. But today, though, it's a different story. There are blades of hope that are growing among these cobblestones of difficult history. One of them, of course, is the fact that the Somalis now are exhausted by war and civil strife. They are absolutely tired of a particular kind of a religious Islamicist militancy that wants to destroy the culture. They are tired of warlords who hijack political opportunities for their own self-interest and in the process destroying what's in place. So that exhaustion brings a certain kind of yearning for a new kind of a time. And that's hope. You see, that they had enough of this. We want something different. They have told me this in so many places while I was participating in this electoral process for the presidency of the country.
Even halfway around the world, he's still a celebrated candidate, a visionary of Somalia's future.
I'm driven by, the passion partly comes because I think after 30 years of studying, I have seen enough of the truth in front of me through that scholarship. What ails the Somali people and how they might overcome those problems.